Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Theo Mann Rewrites. Today's topic, we are rewriting the Jurassic franchise, a franchise that my family loves to hate. And today we're going to talk about everything that the writers did wrong with that series and how they could have made it better. So let's start off with the very first movie. The original Jurassic Park was originally a novel. And it was intended to be a horror novel. And the very first movie was meant to be a horror movie. So both the novel and the movie both follow the same horror movie tropes. The same tropes that we all know so well. People making idiotic decisions, going down to the basement when they know they shouldn't, all that stuff. And one of the things that is a standout problem of the entire franchise is that there is no hero. There is no one in the entire franchise that we can look at as a heroic figure, and there is nowhere that this is more obvious than in the very first movie, because neither the book nor the movie were made with the idea of it being any kind of heroic action series, which is exactly what it turned into with the later movies. You could argue that Owen from the Jurassic World trilogy is supposed to be a hero, but he isn't. He is a badass, but I would argue that he's not a hero. There is no one in the entire franchise that is admirable, that we would look at and want to be like. The only person in the entire Jurassic franchise that I consider heroic is Eric from the third Jurassic Park movie. The kid who gets stranded on the island for 8 weeks and survives alone. And he even saves Alan Grant's life from the dinosaurs because Eric is so resourceful. And in the third movie, the writers completely botched this by switching it all around and falling back on their old pattern of making the kid in danger so that everyone else can save them, and Eric turns into a wimp. And that contradicts exactly what happened before, where he was the one who saved Alan. That's surviving for 8 weeks on a dinosaur-infested island when he was like maybe 12 or 13, that's what I call heroic. That's what I call admirable. And he's the only character in the entire franchise that has the brains to do something like that. Everybody else is a moron. So getting back to the first movie, there is no hero. The cast of characters, they're all ordinary people. None of them is what you might call a badass. They're just there. And they react to the situation as normal people would. They do not rise to the occasion. The ending of the first movie is a classic horror movie ending where the problem is still there, the threat is still out there, nothing gets resolved. The characters escape with their lives, and that's the victory. And that is not a heroic story, it's not an action story, it's a horror movie. That's exactly what it's meant to be. And all of the wonder and fascination and marvel of the dinosaurs coming back to life is squandered with the horror movie trope of the dinosaurs turning into the antagonist. And then the following two movies, where Ian Malcolm and Alan Grant both go back to the island, follow exactly the same pattern. Neither of them is heroic enough to carry the series. And then when the first Jurassic World movie came along, we were introduced to Owen. He's not a hero either because he doesn't resolve the story through his heroics. It's Claire that is the one who does whatever it is that brings about the resolution while Owen hides in a corner. And Claire has been insufferable and annoying and helpless the entire movie. It makes no sense at all. And throughout the rest of the Jurassic World trilogy, none of the others act heroically at all. So that's what I would redo. And next week, I'm going to be talking about Rise of the Giants, which is a series that I'm working on right now, which was actually inspired by everything that we're talking about right now. Everything that I've just said about the Jurassic franchise was used as the inspiration for Rise of the Giants. My family, one of the things that we do to entertain ourselves is to trash on all these franchises and talk about what the writers did wrong. And the Jurassic franchise is one of the franchises that we most love to hate on. And it was actually a conversation that I had with my 10-year-old son that inspired Rise of the Giants. Like, it would have been better if they did X, Y, and Z. And that's what Rise of the Giants is. So I'm going to talk about that next week. I've heard that there is another Jurassic World movie coming out. It's already too late for the writers to take my suggestions, but there it is. Put it out there in the world. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next week. Bye.